Hello there, it's Bunny here from Pilates and Yoga with Bunny. Welcome to this 1 hour class where we look at working on Yin Yoga. And we're really going to slow things down, and thank you for joining. And let's begin. So for Yin Yoga, if you have never done Yin Yoga before, I'll just give you a really quick intro. So we use props to hold our body in a position using gravity, basically. So we will hold poses for longer than you would normally in a regular class, or definitely a flow class, or even a hatha class where you're working like 5 to 8 sort of breaths. Yin Yoga, we look at between 3 and 10 minutes for each pose. And the idea is that you work to really release your tendons, your ligaments, and you get into the fascia of your body. Okay, so we don't work on the muscles. It's very different to normal yoga. So we actually start cold. There's no need to warm up or mobilize our joints or anything like that. We literally start straight away and using props. So I've got a bolster. I'm sitting on a little half moon meditation pillow because these are good to be able to use. So if you have something like that, that's fine. It might come in handy. Pillow off the bed, pillow off the sofa. And one thing that will be very useful is blocks or books or Tupperware pots. Yeah, with lids on. You can do whatever you want. Now, I will be talking to you sometimes, and sometimes there'll be quite a long element of silence. And your goal is just to really try and stay present in what's happening with your breath, your body, and being aware of any sensations that come up. Sometimes yin can be quite emotional, and you can find that you can sort of release some pent-up emotions. Sometimes people cry and all sorts of things. Yeah, but usually the first couple of times you do it, that might not happen. Okay, so I'd like you to start in just an easy seated position, a bit like I am now. I'm sitting up on my little half moon pillow. So all we're going to do is just take a couple of minutes to arrive on our mat. So wherever you are, whatever your day has been like, we're going to just be completely present with ourselves right now, and never judging. We're just going to be what we are, what we've got, and be still. Now, as we go through this first little bit of arrival and a little bit of a reset and a focus, I'd like you to just think about your intention that you'd like to set. What would you like to achieve for this next hour? Would you like to have a good sleep afterwards? Would you like to feel the physical benefits or the mental benefits? Or all of those things? Or would you like to just experience something completely new? Or embrace the old? Maybe you want to reconnect or work on your breath. And if you're not feeling 100%, yin is a good way to, challenge those emotions and be still and be quiet. So I'll ask you to close your eyes. And if you wish to put any of your own music on for this practice, totally your choice. Just closing your eyes, being still. And inhaling, exhaling. Finding calm through your body. Noticing any sensations. Just de-stressing from your day. Slowing that breath down. And bring one more full round of breath. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. And opening up your eyes. So from here, we'll move into our first pose, and we're going to go into lung bench. So lung bench is where we will lay down on the mat. And you may hear a few little bells. So our bells are our timers. Now, when I do my lung bench, I like to use my bolster, and I also like to use 2 blocks. So I have a block up this way and a block this way, and then I put my bolster over the top like this, so it's nice and secure. If you haven't got a bolster, you can use a pillow. If you haven't got a pillow, you can roll up a blanket or whatever you've got. Okay, and then sitting with your sitting bones where you feel comfortable, and then slowly you will bring yourself backwards so your head can rest and your palms can face up. Now, while you're organizing yourself, I will show you a few options. So if you don't have a bolster and you just have your blocks, I'm using yoga bricks. I have one on the small height, and then the other one on the larger height that will go onto the back of the skull. And you can see that I've put my bolster underneath my calves, and I'm actually going to roll it up so it's underneath my knees, and the back of my pelvis is just heavy into the mat. So finding a position that is going to work for you, remembering that we want to actually just open very gently through the heart, through the chest. Now, as we move through our practice, our goal is to stay nice and still, but adjust where necessary. So if you feel that something is too strong, you'll change it. And if you feel something isn't strong enough, you'll change it. So that is a halfway bell already for this pose. And it will take you a little while to find and understand what is going to be best for you. Maybe you take the legs long. And I like to cross my arms over and hold on to my elbows and let my chest open fully. And your aim is to relax. See if you can let go. So gravity pulls you down towards the mat, down towards your props. Aiming to find that ujjayi breath and the stillness. and calmness. As you feel that you can let go. It's always good to have space on your own, or some quiet space when you do yin. But at the same time, those external influences can really help us to stay connected. Remembering your job is to try and be still. You'll see me shuffling around a little bit as I'm looking at my timer and my notes. But see if you can just listen to my voice or your music. And slowly begin to curl up. Bring your hands down by your side. Bring your chin to your chest. So the important thing is we come out as safely as we've gone in. So we roll up, leaning forwards, taking away your props. Laying down on the mat. And windshield wiper your legs from side to side, just to get that little bit of relief through the low back, through the upper back. Just moving the legs either one way, either the other way. And then bringing yourself around, push your hands to a seated position. Our next posture is shoelace. So as we move into our shoelace posture, we're going to be working on the left leg first. And I encourage you to sit on a block with this one to make sure that your spine is nice and neutral, and taking your pelvis into a little bit of an anterior tilt. So if you have one of the meditation pillows, that's fine too. So we cross our left leg over our right. So our left leg will be in front, sitting up nice and tall, and then shuffling those feet further in together. Further in, further in, further in. This may be enough for you. If you're able to, the left leg will come over. We'll readjust the pelvis, and then we'll draw that foot around. Remember, we are here for 5 minutes. Okay, so you're going to find the position that is best for you, and I'm also going to give you some alternatives as we move forwards. Okay, so making sure there's just no discomfort in the inside of either knees, and you can feel a gentle stretch down into the left hip. Now, for some of you, if you want a little bit more, you'll use your bolster and you'll actually lean yourself forwards. So I will just demo. Stay in posture. So maybe use your bolster and you lean forwards. So using your forehead. For some of you, if you're more flexible through your hips, you may be able to hinge forwards, and you may even come all the way down, trying to make sure that the tailbone stays on the block. We have no pain in the knees, and we're just trying to let go here. And in Yin, we are okay to actually hang in to these postures. Obviously, any pain we're not looking for, but you may find that having fist on fist. So be where you want to be, even putting your forehead on an upturned block. And every exhale, you'll aim to release through the hip. You'll feel as the muscle tightness releases, and then we can really begin to work on the ligaments and tendons and all of that fascia that's covering the muscles, all the connective tissue that we can release into. You always have to ask yourself if the posture you're in is over your edge or just slightly under it. Because over the time in the pose, you want to maintain that you can go that little bit deeper as gravity helps you. So you'll find that maybe you can change your posture halfway through. Or maybe you feel you need to back off. Always about the breath. Staying present. We put stresses in our body that we can control in Yin. So we purposely put ourselves in stressful positions because it helps us manage the stresses of everyday life. Be still. Use your bolster. Use your pillow. Use your block. Use your blanket. Pad everything out. And slowly walk yourself up if you're in that forward fold. Begin to sit tall for a moment, leaning backwards and uncrossing your legs. Taking your hands behind you and your legs out in front to loosen off through your hips. Just breathing, opening the chest a little bit. Maybe you rock from side to side, moving over one way and the other way. And our next posture, come into seated butterfly or bound angle. And I suggest you use something to sit on again for this one. Either your block or your bolster or your bed pillow. This time I'm going to sit on my half moon pillow. Bringing the soles of the feet together. And letting the knees come apart. Tall through the spine. And then maybe you can walk those hands further forwards and round into the back. So again, you can use several items to stack up on top of each other for the forehead. Letting knees come down. You can pop a block underneath each knee, each side, or a pillow. Or if you feel that you don't feel anything there, then come further forwards, come off the seat that you're sitting on, and change that posture. So finding that position that you think is going to be sustainable for you for the next about 4 minutes now. Remembering you're not pushing through the edge, no pain in the ankles, nothing in the neck. Releasing and relaxing. And if you've realized that you've come too deep, change it. Change. Change is always fine. But we aim to minimize that change so we can work with breath and body, releasing and being. Our inhales and exhales. Finding that element of discomfort that you can manage. Maybe your mind wanders off. You might have music on, your favorite song, or something relaxing in the background. It's just there, but it's quiet. You might have distractions. And all these things are set to challenges because our life never comes without distractions. Our life never comes without pain and stresses. But we're in charge of all this right now. Just being still. Being still. Breathe and release. Inhale space. And exhale length. Inhale space. Exhale release. Maybe last 30 seconds, we go that little bit deeper. Checking in with our feelings. And our presence. Walk yourself up. Use your hands wherever you're at with that. Just walk yourself nice and slowly. And if you're high, just begin to lengthen your spine up. Take the hands onto the outside of your thighs and gently pull them up towards you. Just give them a little helping hand. Again, coming off your seat. Taking your legs long wherever that feels good for you. Circling your ankles, both directions. Feeling that release through the ankle joints. Maybe you want to point and flex and pushing your chest up and forwards to really open the heart. And our next posture will be shoelace with the right leg on top. So we've already been here once, but we need to take a fresh look as we move into shoelace on the other side, because no sides are likely to be identical. So take a really fresh approach with your shoelace. But it is always good to start on a block, elevating the pelvis up, just getting the pelvis higher than the knees. So chucking that block underneath you, or a pillow, or whatever you've got. And then from there, shuffling the feet, so right leg in front. That's it, walk them over, pull them apart. And having both your knees facing away from you. So we're aiming for the knees to be, in the center, if that is feeling okay. And if it feels like you can go a little bit further, we will shuffle that foot around, bringing the sitting bones onto that block. Maybe you just hold the ankles slightly, growing up tall. And then working on the shoelace on the other side. So staying tall or walking yourself forwards. We start more than likely quite high, and then maybe you get to come down. So choose where is right for you. I'm going to use my bolster again because I find that the best position for me to put my forehead on, and I can hug onto the bolster. Just feel the sensation of the opposite hip just drawing down and away from you, remembering that there isn't sensations in the knees that cause you pain. Just being. And as time moves on and gravity does its job, you may sink lower down. Changing posture. Some poses you'll find release quicker than others, and some won't release at all. We have what's called tension and compression in our bodies. Tension is probably what you're feeling right now, where we feel the tension of the muscles and the fascia and the ligaments extending and stretching. And although there isn't much stretch to be had in ligaments and tendons, we can condition them to lengthen slightly and stay healthy. So healthy helps us avoid injuries. And compression is we feel bone to bone, where we can't take ourselves into a pose anymore because our hip bone is not built like that. Our pelvis is a shape that doesn't allow our hips to go into deep external rotation. So you will literally feel a stopper. We work with tension. When we get to compression, we cannot go anymore. Trying to release every time with the exhale. And just calming the mind, stilling the mind. To release and relax. Maybe you go that little bit deeper for your last 30 seconds. Or maybe you found that this is enough or too much. And yin is something that comes with practice, the same as meditation. In terms of to avoid the fidgets, it takes practice. Takes time to build that mental stability to be able to be still, to be able to know that this is okay. Slowly walk yourself up. If you're into that high point, bringing those feet around. And again, just moving through the legs, do whatever feels good, circling the ankles. Maybe you want to rock the hips from side to side. Just moving and stretching. And our next pose, we work on one more forward fold. And we go to Dragonfly. So this will be a straddle fold. And again, it's advisable to sit up on a block or something higher, so we can relax and our pelvis can be in an anterior tilt. And this may mean that you get a little bit more space down the backs of your legs. So sometimes you may want to actually pad something out underneath your knees. It could be a blanket, or sometimes even just putting a pillow underneath there and using your elbows, and this may be enough. You're bringing your legs to a straddle that feels comfortable for you, and the legs will roll wherever they want to roll. So we're trying not to hold them. And then bringing yourself forwards if that is okay for you. Using your block again, maybe for your forehead, or sometimes it's even quite nice to put the block on your chest so you can actually lean, and you can put the blanket over the top of your block as well, or a pillow. Okay, so let's begin in our Dragonfly. If you get any sensations into your spine that aren't nice, come out. So shuffle yourself so you're nice and comfy, where you can be still. And over time, this is a great gravity stretch. Because quite quickly, you'll find that you gain more space. As the hamstrings lengthen, and sitting up tall is totally an option as well. So if you find that a seated straddle is strong for you on its own, then you'll be here. You'll be up tall. And maybe you bring your bolster right up close to you to rest your chin. Or if your spine and your back body and your hamstrings are very flexible and you don't get hit with that compression, you may have a deeper range and come down further. So find your place. Remember, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It matters what you're doing. It doesn't matter what it looks like, what it feels like. What does it feel like? What sensations are you experiencing as you have that half-time bell? Maybe you lower down that little bit further. And it's one of the few practices in yoga that, as long as you have a healthy spine, it is okay to round through the back. As long as you're propping your body up. It is okay to draw on all those ligaments and that huge big diamond shape of fascia that's at our low back that we're trying to release. As we build this calm. If you find you take yourself to the point where you start to pant in your breath, you have gone too far. Back off. And yin is such a wonderful practice to aid all the yang in your life. The sport, the running, the weights, the hockey, the swimming, dancing. Whatever you do as your hobby, you're walking. Wonderful to be working on that parasympathetic nervous system where you can be still. And as we age, we really need to look after our mind as much as our body. And yin does both that. So begin slowly to uncurl. Use your hands. If you're sitting up tall, start to move your body from side to side. And just add a little tiny twist here, moving around one way, the other way. Just reaching up, growing as tall as you can. And then moving your props out the way. I always seem to find that I end up with a big mess around me in yin with all my props and bits and bobs. So our next posture is supine twist. And have some blocks over to your right hand side. So we're going to take the left leg over the right. So when we twist, we may use a prop to pop the knee on. You may choose to have a head pillow or a folded up blanket to have your head on. So come down and lie on your back. Lie all the way down and have a little wiggle from side to side. Then bringing your feet flat on the floor. For our supine twist, I'll give you a choice whether you keep your knees together or you cross over your top leg over your bottom. So for me, I'm going to cross my left leg over the top of my right and then lift my hips. So I'm onto my outer right hip and then roll those knees over. And this will be my supine twist. I'll give you some options. You may decide to keep the feet a little bit wider, bringing the knees over to the side. And even keeping your legs a bit longer, taking your knees over to the side. You may choose to keep your knees and your ankles together and bringing your hips to neutral. So you choose what's going to work for you. And we will find our start. And we do each side. Just letting gravity draw you down. Draping something over your eyes. Or even having your incense on can give you something really nice to draw you inwards to yourself. Thinking of smells around you. Inhale into the side of that hip, into the side of that body. And exhale all the way down. As you release, and be still, be calm. Adjust where you need to. As you feel those legs draw further and further down, if you've prodded them, prop them up with blocks or blankets. Maybe you can take that away. The knees may come a little bit closer towards the armpits. And what goes through your mind in yin? What are you thinking? It's hard to quiet our mind, our busy monkey minds. Yoga's all about that enlightenment. But even if your mind is busy, the thoughts pop in and they pop out. Keeping that breath long and deep. Full inhales, full exhales. Being calmer with every exhale. Change the position if you wish for your last minute. Maybe you take the arms to cactus arms, or even take your arms up overhead, or find you add that hand down to the side of the thigh, just drawing that leg over. Remember, we're working with gravity, so you're refraining from pulling, but you're adding a little bit extra gravity. Always have my best night's sleep after yin practice. Almost releases those emotions of your day when it gives you time to process them and think about what's happened. And learn to accept that that's what it is. Begin to roll yourself up. Nice and slowly unpeeling the legs. And again, we wipe those legs from side to side. And momentarily roll yourself over to your front. Just bringing yourself to Sphinx, to open your heart. Just looking up and forwards. Moving your hips from side to side. Moving your shoulders. Bringing your feet up behind you. And just bringing those into windscreen wipers. Side to side. And then rolling over once again for the right twist. Setting yourself up. Choosing how you want to perform that twist. Using props, using your rolled up blanket for your pillow, maybe your eye mask. And then scooching those hips over as we roll them over to the side. For our last working posture. A block underneath the knee, or a bolster, or change the hip position. And change the foot position. You choose. You're in control. Always. You get the say-so. Can you inhale space? And exhale, release. Let gravity do its thing. Keep the eyes soft and the breath long, aiming to make the exhale longer than the inhale. As we bring that lovely twist into our body. Where's your mind right now? Is it present? Or have you drifted off thinking about what you're doing tomorrow or what you did today? Or stay present on your mat. Stay present with your breath. Stay present with the sensations in your body. Change the arm position if you wish. Maybe cactus arms, maybe arms overhead, outstretching them further, reaching apart. Can you exhale and let those knees drift over? Just drift. Maybe the hand on the thigh gives you that very slight bit of encouragement to drift and release. Yeah, and slowly unpretzel that body. Bring those legs back up to the top. Wipering again from side to side. Maybe going the other way. Just gently releasing. And then rolling yourself over for a moment of Sphinx once again. Elbows underneath the shoulders or further away, depending on your flexibility. And just opening the heart, opening the tummy, opening the hips. And our final posture is our corpse pose for our Shavasana. You choose however you want to end your practice. You may choose to take your head in your hands and lay on your front. Otherwise, draw yourself over to your back. Your feet can be bent, your knees can be bent, feet to floor, or you can prop your bolster or your pillows underneath your knees. Use an eye mask or head pillow or blanket over the top of you. Make sure you are completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Be still. You really allow these poses to penetrate our body more deeply, and we hold them for longer time. And in your final resting posture, still see if you can work at that release. Just listening to your body, communicating with it. What is it telling you? Telling you to be still and present. We become aware of our thoughts, our images and memories, our forward thinking. Maybe plans or fantasies. As we come to the close of our practice together, I would encourage you to stay where you are for longer. I will silently leave and leave you to your Shavasana as I bring my hands to my heart and thank you for coming. As I bow in gratitude, please stay where you are and carry on for as long as you wish. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for joining me. And please put a comment below if there's anything else that you would like to work on or any other yin practices you would like to do with me. So thank you very much and namaste.